Hello and welcome to another video. In this video we're going to be showing you how I've got on with my Baneblade and how I've painted it. Before we begin though, if you'd like to see more videos like this one, please aim your Baneblade cannon at the subscribe button and smash the bell button apart and you'll see more videos like this one. Thank you. So, as I said, we're going to have a look at the Baneblade, so all I'll do is I'll just drive it on like I did in the last video. Yeah, anyway, so that's probably not a tank driving noise. So, here's what I've done with it so far. I say so far, I'm pretty much done with maybe some touch-ups, might pick up some extra details. But this is the Baneblade side of the kit. I've still yet to build... to paint up the Shadow Sword side to an extent. I have, but I haven't, if you know what I mean. You'll see later in the video. But what I've done is, obviously I've built the Baneblade, so as you probably saw in the video previous, you can actually build the Baneblade without worrying about the supports, and I will talk about that, and how I got onto for solving the solution about the measurements. So what did I do on this? So what I did was, as with all of my tanks, I start with a Castellan green. I did a dry brush on the, so there was black, and just did a cheeky dry brush in metal, which was lead belcher. I did Castellan green on these and pretty much picked out some of the details. I can't remember if it was corn red or it might have been, it's whatever I used for my gene stealers. I used for the red bits, the little lights and stuff on here and on the back, which I'll show you in a second. I used Celestra Grey and then went over it with a Screaming Skull, not Screaming Skull, I'll have to check to be honest, I can't remember what it was, but one of the whites. And you might be able to tell, I went around and picked out every little rivet, well, with the exception of, and I'm a bit brave to do this, with the exception of the bottom, short of like a couple of things which I might go back and touch up, who knows. But no one's really going to be looking at the bottom because it's never going to get blown up there. So honest. No, I won't say that properly. Obviously the turrets come off, and I did watch a video. The guy is called Grey Shirt Guy, and he does magnetize his, and I might do something similar, just because they do. It's nice that you can turn them, but they do come off often if you so much as breathe on it. Which is not the best. So let's have a look. So as I said, we picked out the white on this one. I was thinking about doing some type of pattern, as I was a bit concerned it was going to look a bit plain. I mean, it does look a bit plain. It matches the rest of my army, and I'll show you another tank later on. But because of the rivets, I think it looks fine actually because of that, in spite of that. So it's basically just plain green. I might do something with these, I don't know. I'll probably leave them because I think it looks cool enough. And the back is a little bit more intricate, but not much more. I went over it with a brass and then a gold colour, which I don't know why I did that. I just decided to on the bits that look a bit brassy, and the red guy there. I don't know why I went red. Probably because I was going red. And then there's the lights at the back. I did a slight lighter bit at the top. I don't know why. It's not like I'm cool with object source lighting. I might need to touch up these skulls at the back and a bit of paint here and there, and there's a bit there I've just seen as well. Lovely. But otherwise, even now I could probably just play with it like that and not be too bothered in that respect. So I've named all my Lehman Russes, so I decided to name this one, and this one's name is Helga. I might put the name different for the Shadow Sword, I'm not sure yet. I have got, basically what I'm looking for is strong sounding women's names, so like older names, like maybe I want to say Mavis. Rhonda is obviously the name of one of my tanks. I've got Ursula as one of my tanks, we've got Betty, and I can't remember what the other one's called. I still need to name my chimeras, but obviously I thought Helga sounds like hell. Basically she's a bit of a beast. So let's have a quick look at how I came across the solution to the supports. I'll show you that in a sec. So the solution to the support issue. So I had issues finding the measurements for the supports, but what I did was, rather sensibly, is I took the sprue, I got some blue tack, so it might not be exactly level, maybe, but I got some blue tack and I put, so this is another part which is, that's had a base paint, a base level on, so I've got some lead belcher and some Castellan green. I haven't gone over it with my other colour. As you can see, this is the like before and after. Not perfectly painted. A lot of people might be screaming, going, "Oh God!" But it's actually all right in my opinion, and that's all really that matters. I think it's painted to at least the tabletop. So what I did was, I got these like that, and I got this bit, which is for the shadow sword. If I've put it the right way, I can't remember. It's like that, I think. Yeah. And what I did was, I just went like this, and then put some supports, some sprue, straightened it off roughly, put some blue tack on, put the sprues in, and then checked to see if it would support it, and it did. I didn't do multiple bits, I just did one longer bit, so they sit on there, so I didn't even have to measure it. And all I did was, when I got the right line, is I got a Sharpie, I think it was a red one, and just went across it like that. I did the same on the other side, and then glued them in position, and then did a quick dry test. Be careful if you're using plastic glue though, because you could get it stuck for indefinite amount of time, although it does give you a bit more maneuvering time, so keep that in mind, and that way you don't even have to measure it. It's literally the easiest way. You don't have to worry about, oh, is it a couple of mils out, half an inch, 2/8 of an inch and all that. You just go boom, yeah, no, cool, that one needs to go higher, done, good. That's my top tip for building the Baneblade, a kit, so you can build it other ways. So let's have a quick look at showing you the shadow sword, which is half painted. So obviously we're going to show you the shadow sword arrangement. So this bit goes on the back. I believe I've still got to do heavy stubbers, in fact, so it's not entirely finished, but I could play it like this without too much of a problem. And this bit goes over here, I think, yeah, because the sword, Bane sword, the shadow sword, good gosh, sits a bit further back than the other bit. So this bit would sit here, or it would. Come on. Behave now, we're on camera. There we go. There you go. So as you can see, this is the base chassis, if you will. What you get is, you get this one, which is technically another weapon in of itself. So I can't remember. I don't even know all the variants. I'm not going to lie to you. This is a weapon of its own. It's a different tank altogether. And then you just wham this thing on. I will say this. I was a bit concerned that this wouldn't stay on, but with a little bit of paint, it seems to stay on a bit better. However, I still might glue it like that, because it does add a lot of weight onto the end of this, doesn't it? So I don't know if you maybe need to use an extra magnet or not to keep it in. As you can see, it's a little bit, let's see, I might glue it in, maybe, who knows. But here we have the shadow sword, again, unpainted completely, as a contrast to the rest of it. So I'll probably name this one something different. You can put suggestions down below, that would be lovely. And yeah, so this is the shadow sword. And this is the last of the variants that I've built. And this is the Stormlord. Basically, it's the one that has a 20 shot, strength 6, I want to say -1 or -2. Is it 2 damage? Possibly. Basically sprays a lot of ammo in the direction of the foe. Obviously tripled with your 6 shots, 12 shots, and then another 6, 18, so you'll have 38 shots from these. You possibly have stubbers on there and your las cannons as well, just for flavour, as you do. So again, this is the one where you probably would have stubbers at there, but again, I think it looks alright. And at the main, I don't intend on building every single variant, I don't think, but I'm also going to hopefully not make myself so I can't build a certain variant, if you know what I mean. Like, keep the parts, and then if down the road I just decide I'm just going to get rid of them, I'll just either use them for another project or I shall sell them on, as sometimes I do. But I'm quite happy with this, and I think one of the main reasons I wanted to be able to build the Stormlord is Stormlord. Yeah, I think I'm right. correct me if I'm wrong, I don't mind being wrong, is in the new chapter approved, you have the Battle Fortress, which is basically a Baneblade, and it has the either Mega Gatler or the Super Mega Gatler or something like that, and basically it's like a Storm Lord, effectively. So these would become like zap guns, wouldn't they? And then this would be like big shooters. So again, you'd have like a proxy for an Orc army, which would be a little bit on the sick side, in a good way, obviously, and obviously all the other variants too. So I'll get it back to the Baneblade and also bring another tank in, so you can see and a guardsman, Catch-Gen albeit, but a guardsman, so you can see the size comparisons. Also, as a side note, one last other variant, I think it's the Hellhammer, is it? Basically, put some green stuff in there, push a paintbrush in, put a chunk of green stuff or milliput, and that way you don't even have to glue the magnet in, and it'll just stick in there. And here we have the other cannon, Hellhammer. So I think the main difference between this, where it's actually not WYSIWYG, is I think it has a las gun, I might be wrong, instead of an auto cannon. However, you know, I think that's acceptable so you don't have to magnetize every tiny wee bit. But I think that's all right. I might yet paint that one still. That hasn't been finished. I'll probably do that green where the barrel is. Whoopsie. So what we'll do is we'll land this back on. Boom. And we will bring in a Lehman Russ, so you can see the size difference. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring Rhonda in. Just going to drive in now. Right next to her mum. Right there. As you can see, a Lehman Russ is about half, roughly, in length from front to back. I mean, the cannons are shorter on the cannon by nearly twice the size, roughly. That's just eyeballing it. And from the width, girth maybe, if you will, not too dissimilar actually. I mean, obviously with the sponsons on, you've got, again, some size on there, but it's about another half as big. So it's twice as big length and about half the size width as well. And obviously height, we're talking double, pretty much, yeah. So it is an imposing thing. So you could literally, you could hide a tank commander behind it. Go, I don't want you to shoot my tank commander, and then when the game starts, this is no penalties from turning, short of Cadian's not being able to reroll ones, but other than that, that could definitely sit there and be like hidden behind here going, right, drive around, boom. Right, so this is a size comparison of a Lehman Russ, which is relatively large compared to other things. And here we have one of my Catch-Gens I painted, I want to say last year or the other year, not this year. It's one of the first bunch of Catch-Gens I built. I'll just let the dynamic pose. Like he's, I don't know, about to threaten someone with a knife or something. So we're going to plonk him down. He is tiny. The Baneblade is massive, so he doesn't, does he? Oh, he can comfortably sit under the sponson, which is quite funny. I mean, obviously, if he wasn't having his gun raised, he could completely walk right under there. And obviously, I think the ladders are pretty much to scale, in my opinion. So he could climb there, and he could happily sit on top, like, boom. Boom, baby. Yeah, so he's pretty tiny compared to it. I did want to demonstrate, so this one I got from Ramshackle Games. It's a gentleman in England. He does models, well, war games. He's got his own war game, and he's in fact started a skirmish one as well. But this is one of the tanks, and this one, what's it called? The Capybara, I believe it is. It's a little mini tank, cool for a grot tank size, I do believe. That's what I'll probably be using him for long term. But he can sit with his base just underneath it. Again, we'll get the Lehman Russ in. Just the Lehman. I never call him Lehman Russ. Is it hit? Right. No offense to what's his name? Winter's SEO. It does annoy me when he goes Lehman Russ, and other people say Chimera, and I'm like, it's not a chimera, it's Chimera, and it's a Lehman Russ. Lehman Russ, not a lemon Russ. Lemon. Anyway, so yeah, basically that's tiny compared to it. It's like a little baby next to a beast. I'll round the video up now, and see you in a sec. Right, so in summary, the Baneblade is a cool kit. It's 85 English pounds. I have wanted one for a long time, maybe over 2 years or so, and I've not got hold of one, simply because bills and life takes, quite clearly and obviously, takes a precedence over miniatures. So at this rate, basically I was happy to get this for my birthday from my mother, and yeah, it was a cool kit. So what I would say is it worth £85? Good question. Like anything, it's subjective. My opinion is yes. However, you have to, in order to get more value from it, do simple things to get more money. So like we said, with the being able to use the Stormlord or the Shadow Sword in addition to just the Baneblade. So don't just build it one way and you'll get more use out of it. And a little thingy to saying that is that obviously you don't have to be able to build all 8 variants. Just build the main ones that you want. So, you know, even if it's simple between the Baneblade and the Hellhammer, whatever it's called. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, I might be wrong. Even something as simple as that, as 2 tanks for the price of 1, you've immediately halved the value of the price to like 40 odd quid. So I'd also say though, if you're just after a Baneblade and you don't worry about any of the variants, go on eBay, get them second hand. I wanted to build this first, and I might get another Baneblade variant, but I probably will just get a second hand one off eBay if I can get a decent or half decent one that's salvageable for a lot less money, which would be cool. Definitely say it's a viable kit, good to have, and if you can get discount from anywhere, take it. Yeah, I think that's pretty much where we want to be on this one. Right, so before I put Helga and Rhonda and this guy to bed, obviously if you want to put something in the comments down below of maybe what you think I should call the Shadow Sword, Stormlord, etc. variant, let me know in the comments down below. I'm looking for strong sounding women's names. It's always cool. And if I've got any names wrong, you've got any further tips, because obviously this isn't just for me, it's for you guys. So if you use any tips for building a Baneblade that I've missed, pop them in the comments down below so that people can read them too. That would be lovely. And I'm just going to say, if you haven't already, subscribe, like and dislike appropriately, and goodbye to you.